The 8'2" Outlaw, hands down, by far, my favorite. Slip floats, vertical jigging, casting, trolling. I love this rod. Let's go tie this crappie jig right here. Richard, thank you for the idea. So what I've got right here is an 1/8 ounce Texas minnow head. That was kind of what me and Jason Brummel kind of named it. It's actually a walleye head from Do It Molds. I love the shape of this jig head. I did as soon as I got them. It's a really cool jig head. I've got it painted candy purple. I got 2 silver eyes already UV resined stuck inside there. So we don't have to fool with the UV resin. We don't have to fool with the eyes, because this one here, we're going to tie with the chenille body. And yes, right here, we're going to put rubber in this one. And this stuff here, you'd be surprised how easy that is to get at Bass Pro. You can go to, and they're not going to run out of it. Why? Because it's for bass fishermen. They're not going to run out of that. You can find replacement skirts. I've got tons of it. And there's a lot of this stuff you can use. I mean, even, you know, you can tell that was a spinnerbait skirt. I bought like 10 of them, did an order with them. I've got some that are actually made for this. A little more for fly tying, but it works really good in small 64, 68, 16th ounce jigs, stuff like that. This stuff is called Grizzly fluttered legs, and this is pretty cool. This is you can't cut that with your thread or with your bobbin. You can pull that stuff down. I don't know if this is an old stock I got, but I'll give you the part number off of it. GFL9 from Hairline. Right there, that's a really good product. Ties really good. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that's old stock. So I don't know if you would ever be able to find that or not. But like that right there, spinnerbait skirts. You could probably get probably 2 dozen jigs out of one of those skirts, depending on how you're tying it. But I mean, I've got loads of it. All colors, sizes, thicknesses. But that stuff's easy to find. And it's a whole lot cheaper than Hackle. I guarantee you that. It is a whole lot cheaper than Hackle. But I'll give you one tip. If you go to Bass Pro and you're going to buy this, get 2 or 3 packs of it. Keep it, what you don't use, just keep it in a bag, throw it back in a storage container, and then you always got it. Because they'll always have that stuff, but they might not have that color. It might end up discontinued, or who knows what they do there on order and stuff. It makes no sense to me. Sometimes they got a really good supply of stuff, and then sometimes they don't. But here it is. We're going to tie rubber legs on this crappie jig. And we're going to do it just like we do anything else. And this is from Richard Kuntz. Kuntz. I think I said that right. Sorry, Richard, if I butchered it up. But he was the first one to reply back what he wanted to see tied, so that's what we're going to do. We got a little bit of Sally Hansen's on it, and I'm using 210 denier. I'm using black. With the one we're tying, you could use blue, you could use dark green, you could use purple, you could, you know, whatever color. And if you want the neck to stand out some and have that color showing, use a white thread, orange thread, something else. But we're going to be using, like I said, these legs. And this is from Jan's Net Craft. I ordered a bunch of it. I thought I was going to get into tying bass jig. Oh, it's got a tab on each end that is designed to be cut. I'm going to cut that tab right off just like that. And that leaves all the legs now are all loose and separated. You might have to pop some to get them to come loose, but they will. So we're going to figure out about how much we need in this 1/8 ounce jig. And doing kind of a comparison look at it, it's going to be quite a bit. So let's see. And on this one here, I'm going to give you a part number for that too. Like I said, and that's kind of cool. It's got like a green, bluish holographic print in it. Like I said, I ordered this from Jen's Net Craft. SB silicone layers. And the part number they've got on this, it's 15J1E. And it's also a 087 June bug. That's how, if you were going to order it, that's how you're going to want to order it. So if you got to rewind it, I don't know if I can get it tagged up there or not. But I will say this too, everything that I'm going to be using in this video today, there will be a link to it. So on the side there where it says shop on the video, you can click on that and order anything that I'm using, all the way down to the vise, the bobbins. I don't think I can get that up there, but a lot of the other material, whatever I can get in that shop link, I'll put in that shop link, so it makes it a little bit easier for you guys to find, because I know I still get messages. Sometimes I get messages on a daily basis on what UV resin, where did I get it from, what vise did I got, where do I get it from, things like that. So I'll start pinning all that stuff in all these videos. But as you can see, we've kind of pulled that out. We've made it just probably a little bit too long, but that's fine, because we can go back and we can trim these up, whatever you need to do to them. So if you're going to do this, I would definitely go with the side of making them just a little bit too long. I would. That'd be my opinion. We're going to add just a little bit more to it, too. I think it looks kind of thin. We're all fattening this baby up some. And I'm just using an old cheap pair of scissors to cut it. I think that'll do it. With this style jig head, I can put a lot behind it, because the weight of this 1/8 ounce jig head is in the back. So it builds up really thick right back here. So I can get away with adding quite a bit of material and still have room to get my chenille up on that. Tied right back to the point of the hook. And I'm not doing super tight wraps, just because some of this stuff that you're going to encounter when you're tying rubber legs, and you'll see it if you go grab an old spinnerbait or something like that, and you go to tie it in, sometimes that stuff will break. Break meaning that my thread will actually cut through those rubber legs. That's definitely not what we want. So be careful when you do that, and it'll take some experimenting to figure out what you can tie tight and what you can't. And like I said, we do everything here without doing any editing, so I'm not cutting that out. Somehow I broke my thread there, and I ain't really sure how I did it. I must have got it a little bit close to that hook barb. We're going to thread it back in our loom bobbin, and if you get the loom bobbin, you definitely want to make sure you get the right bobbin threader, because a normal standard one will not reach the bottom of this loom. Just, it won't. I'm sure you could make one, come up with one or something, but let's go back and do that again. Since we broke our thread off, we're going to start it kind of over, and then we're going to cut off our tag end. So there was a mistake number one for sure on that, but I think I got a little close to that hook bar. Next, once I started tying with this chenille, I realized that I like this much better. This is Tri-Lobel Antron chenille, medium in size, purple, ACM 298. I got this all from Plateau Fly Shop. I made a really big order, ordered a lot of this chenille because I like this. It ties tight, and it seems extremely durable. It's a really thick chenille, and it ties really, really good. It goes in really good. I like this. And like I said, I went out of my way, had the guys at the fly shop order me a bunch of it. And we're not putting any flash in this. I don't want to, and I'll explain why here in a minute. So we're going to get our bobbin out of the way. We're going to get our chenille over here. And we're just going to start wrapping it up. And I'm not pulling it super tight, but I'm keeping some tension on it. So now we are going to take our chenille, and we're going to get it on the other side of our bobbin. Just like that. We're going to wrap it one more time, and we're going to pull it up. And then we're going to come back over, and we're going to tie it again. That's where I'm going to cut my chenille off. I don't want any more wraps on that head. That's all I want. Now, if you would have used white thread or a silver thread or an orange thread, I would have built that neck up really deep where you could see that color of thread. To me, I kind of like that. A lot of people say, well, wait a minute, that you can't tie a jig like that. If the thread on the neck's showing, it's not a good jig. That's not true. And I do it on quite a few. I don't know if I got one sitting here or not to show you, but a lot of times I do too right here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I've got this orange 16th ounce crappie jig with rubber legs in it and orange body. And I made that neck purposely black, just so that way I've got another color in that one jig. So, you know, use your imagination. Somebody says, no, you absolutely can't do it that way. I would challenge it. I would do it and try to figure out why. I've had a lot of people say that my jigs aren't right because you can see that thread. It's not the look I was going after. But if you build that neck up tight, that gives you a really good spot to be able to put your UV resin to seal. Even though, like I said, I've got that whole head already sealed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my UV resin and I'm going to put just a drop right there behind the head. And this is how I first seen this being used. I'm just going to take that brush and push right there against the back of that thread. Right there on that neck. I'm going to take my UV light. It's over here. And we're going to give it a quick little cure. Actually, we got enough room here. We can do it up here on the side too. So just for safe measure, we're going to push it on there too and seal that thread. And once you get that thread sealed with that UV resin, if you're using a UV resin, you know what I'm talking about. But at that point right here, you can put a drop of super glue. But that right there is it. So if you're having a hard time finding hackle, or you don't want to pay the price for hackle, this is another good alternative to bring that price down, because everybody knows crappie will hit that with the rubber legs. We've been using jigs like that for years. So there's another option to save you a little bit more money when you're tying your crappie jigs. I mean, that's it right there. Let me know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe. Keep the comments rolling. I need to hear them. I need to hear them. That's what keeps me inspired to keep on tying. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it.